The world is changing and the economy too. What do decision makers need to consider in order to navigate safely through these times? Many companies are facing new uncertainties, and yet there are some that overcome crisis with flying colors. Companies that are able to transform and to identify new market trends and opportunities and turn them to their advantage. What distinguishes these from the others? The demand for guidance and shared experience is huge. We look forward to talking to Christoph Kull, Managing Director and Vice President Central Europe at ADOBE, how customer intimacy is a compass for business success and what it takes to create it. Christoph Kull, what's your recipe to navigate through these unpredictable times?
Yeah, the last years were very unpredictable and many things happened in this world, and a term that was shaped is business resilience, and that was maybe even overused. But if you look at business resilience, it's not only about how companies adapt to these unpredictable times and the changes, but also how companies actually capitalize on the opportunities that emerge during these times. And that's business resilience. And a good recipe to create and maintain this resilience is to focus on people. And people means employees, partners, and customers, first and foremost. And then if you look at customers, a very good recipe again is to ensure that you put customer centricity at the heart of a company. And we see that companies who focus on customer centricity actually thrive during these times because they can adapt very quickly.
I guess all companies want to be close to their customers, but how do you build this up?
So customer centricity, or being successful in these times, comes with great customer experiences. I even think that customer experience is a new currency for how you can rate the success of companies. Now, customer experience starts with good content. Okay, so we all are expecting relevant personal content, and personal is actually the next thing. So good customer experience means that companies interact on a personal level with their customers or prospects. Now, to be personal, you also need to make sure you are meeting customers where they want to be met. And that could be in the store. You need to know customers who come into your store. It needs to be on your app. It needs to be maybe when customers browse the internet or go onto your e-commerce shop. So regardless what the touch point is, you need to meet customers where they are. And that also is a good customer experience. And then lastly, you need to establish a trustful relationship, because you probably would imagine, how can you be personal? You need to know something. Yes, brand needs to know something about customers.
But what kind of relationship? Do they want to be known, or what is?
There's an expectation, and we did a survey, so 72% of consumers expect that a brand knows the interests of me, right? So, and if that doesn't happen, 2/3 of them will actually go to another brand. So yes, the expectation is there, and also the willingness to provide data.
But how do you achieve this kind of relationship with millions of customers?
Yeah, exactly. That's a challenge, and we call that personalization at scale. So how do you achieve a communication that is relevant for each individual for millions of customers and prospects? So one answer is, of course, technology. You need to have a technology that scales. You need to make use of artificial intelligence. Without that, that's not possible. You need to have a data strategy that clearly knows what data do I need. And then to get that data, obviously, you need to establish a trustful, transparent relationship. So that's first, technology, AI, trust. Second, you need to build also a content strategy to make sure that you can actually reach millions to where they want to be met, right? And then I also believe that you can only do that if the entire company has the understanding that customer centricity is in the middle. And that is not only the sales department or the marketing department, but each function in the company. So customer centricity as a principle for an entire company.
What's your personal guiding light?
There are 5 things that I see when talking to customers that are extremely, what make companies extremely successful. Number 1, like I said, put customer experience as a key priority. That needs to be a strategy. Number two, have a data strategy, because you will need to get close to the consumers, to the customers, by collecting data, behavioral data, historic data. Third, have a content strategy. You need to build a content supply chain that produces this massive content that the market expects. Fourth, you need to start building your own relationships to your customers, because third-party cookies are going away, right? So you will start to have your own relationship where customers are actually interacting with you. And then fifth, like I said before, technology is important. And technology does not mean I just pick a great piece of technology and plug it in and try it out. You also need to have a strategy, not only for data, but also for the technology. How do I build a platform that scales across the different touch points, that scales for millions, hundreds of millions of customers, and it is future-proof?
I guess it's not as easy as it sounds.
It's tough, yeah, and specifically being personal is tough, yeah. We did a study that we call Make It Personal, and interestingly enough, we see that interests change very quickly. More than half of the respondents said that they have fundamentally changed during the pandemic. And another thing that really I will not forget is that they also responded that typically 6 times per year, they're picking up a new hobby or developing a new interest 6 times a year. And so what you have thought to know about your customers a year ago might not be right anymore and correct today. And therefore you need to be constantly have this customer intimacy.
Finally, let's take a quick look into the future. Metaverse and especially conversational AI, emerging innovations or even disruptions?
They are here to stay. That's the first thing I will say. I don't think they are hypes like other hypes that faded away. They're here to stay. And specifically, conversational AI has reached a certain commercial maturity where I see a lot of companies already embedding that as part of their customer journeys with chatbots and with other means. So the interesting thing is that the same principle, the customer centricity, the customer intimacy, dealing with data will not go away. Also in the metaverse, where I see a lot of companies experimenting already to provide 3D versions of their products and so forth, the same principle applies. Have a customer experience and customer centricity strategy, have a scaling technology, and also establish that trustful, long-lasting relationship, regardless whether it's in metaverse or whether it's using artificial intelligence, and then you will succeed.
Christoph Kull, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us. See you next.